Have you ever experienced a moment where a complex decision suddenly felt frictionless? The variables slotted into place, and the right path was obvious. For most of us, those moments are rare. The standard operating procedure feels more like navigating a crowded room where everyone is shouting at once. We spend our days managing psychological noise and fractured attention. This happens because we operate on an outside-in model. We let the daily news cycle, sudden, unpredictable obligations, and other people's emergencies dictate our internal temperature. If the environment is chaotic, we become chaotic. The math on this strategy simply does not work. You are attempting to organize an infinite number of unpredictable external variables to secure your own peace of mind. It is a game you will always lose. Wrestling with that endless stream of external demands doesn't solve the problem. It just generates internal static, leaving you exhausted and stripped of your own agency. Living outside in functions exactly like a radio receiver stuck halfway between stations. You're trying to pull a clear signal out of pure static. The psychological cost of that static is severe. Processing every minor crisis as a direct threat drains your cognitive bandwidth. You end up playing a constant, draining game of defense against the day. To fix this, you have to invert the model. You stop trying to manipulate the environment and turn your full attention to tuning the receiver itself. As long as your mental energy is entirely consumed by reacting to whatever is placed in front of you, you cannot maintain any real direction over your life. In 1897, a philosopher named Waldo Trine published a book built on a very specific premise. He argued that the entire quality of a person's external life is dictated entirely by their internal state. Trine divided reality into two spaces: the unseen realm of cause, which is the architecture of your mind, and the seen realm of effect, which encompasses your actions, circumstances, and physical environment. He insisted on a strict order of operations. A calm, steady life is not what creates internal stability. Internal stability creates a steady life. You build the structure in the unseen realm first, and the material world aligns. When you hold a steady internal baseline, it acts as an active filter. External demands hit that perimeter and are deflected without disturbing your focus. Everything you experience externally is simply a downstream reflection of the order or the chaos you have permitted to exist in your own mind. Trine called this coming into harmony with higher laws. The ancient Stoics called it the dichotomy of control. It requires the absolute separation of the external events you cannot manage from the internal judgments that belong entirely to you. Aristotle understood this as a daily discipline, teaching that a stable, unshakable soul is forged strictly through repeated, intentional habits. Plato mapped this out as an internal hierarchy, requiring the individual to elevate clear, objective reason above reactive, emotional appetites. Modern psychological evidence validates this. When we surrender the effort to manage uncontrollable variables, the mind redirects those resources toward a state of purposeful agency. This focused stillness requires a high level of cognitive command. It is the active preservation of your own internal logic against a chaotic environment. Making this shift requires a deliberate change in daily operations. You have to pause the immediate, frantic urge to react, and instead observe the situation with quiet awareness. This means dropping the exhausting self-effort of trying to fix everything around you. Instead, as Trine suggests, you carefully tend to the signal inside, ensuring your own frequency is strong enough to cut through the surrounding noise. When you do this, you step into the mindset described by Walt Whitman, ordaining yourself as your own master, total and absolute, completely loosed from imaginary limits. By removing the internal static that typically clouds your judgment, you clear the path for right action. When the receiver is finally tuned to a stable baseline, the clarity required for movement emerges as a natural consequence of that order. This brings you to a state of sovereign agency. Your internal baseline becomes the anchor, and it dictates the direction of your external life. The exhaustion of playing the reactive victim disappears. It is replaced by the effortless, steady power of a mind that is fully in tune with its own architecture. Finding this alignment creates an enduring foundation. The storms of daily life continue to pass overhead, but are met with a depth that remains undisturbed. To govern the trajectory of your existence, you must first master the stillness of your own mind.